Go back and forth, mate. Oh. So it's like broke now. Try and go right.
So a couple days ago I'm driving, and let's see if I can get a good view here. I'm driving and this goes here. As I'm driving, this slid up and wedged itself just like that. It held the accelerator down 100%, full throttle.
Keeps going lower and lower, and the wheel is super hard to turn. It's crazy. Like, I can barely move. I'm pressing it. Oh man, what is going on? Yeah, now it's 4. Yeah, I think, oh my goodness, help me out. What's going on? Help me out.
Cybertruck does not work anymore. I'm about 2.5 months in and 3,400 miles, and it's not working right now.
Yeah, now it's 4. Yeah, I think, oh my goodness, help me out. What's going on? Help me out.
So I've made a fair few videos about the Cybertruck over the last, I think, like 6 months, but because I've been off Twitter a lot more, I basically reduced my usage of it by like probably 98% because I deleted it off my phone. I haven't really been seeing the viral posts about how terrible it was until I went on it recently on my desktop. And some of the stuff I was seeing was just so insane. It's basically like all the fears people had about this truck come to life, but I'm not like a car enthusiast or up to date on like car computers, but the fact that you can like brick your car through its onboard computer now is so insane to me. And don't worry, that has been happening with Cybertrucks, but also they found a major flaw, and I did miss this from last month, where the accelerator would wedge itself down full throttle. Because of the way it's designed, part of the accelerator can come off and get stuck in the car, and I'm going to show you some guy actually explaining what happened to him. Thankfully, it didn't cause too many crashes, but there have been seemingly like quite bizarre accidents where you're like, how the hell did that even happen? Like a Tesla car mounting like some massive curb in Beverly Hills. And it seems like this was probably the reason, in that it just went accelerating full throttle when someone was probably just driving at a normal speed. And there's a whole host of problems I want to talk about, from the stainless steel getting very dirty very quickly and also rusting. But if you take it for a car wash, it might actually break your whole car. And maybe all these problems could be understandable if it was the most amazing looking, like best car ever made. But the fact that it's designed to be off-road, but keeps getting stuck on various beaches and really can't seem to handle anything off-road seems to defeat the entire purpose. And it seems to just be only for like Tesla fanatics. But even they are losing their patience with this, as their cars constantly don't work. Not because there's anything wrong with the car, it's because it keeps getting glitches from the operating system. When we're talking about something that can cause so much like destruction and accidents, you'd probably want this to be working a bit better, but it seems to be like an even bigger problem with the Cybertruck compared to older Tesla cars. And don't worry, if you thought, you know, Cybertruck fans had stopped being weird enough by like booting and kicking the sides of their cars, well, think again. As you've probably seen in viral clips, a lot of idiots have been sticking their hands in this and letting the car crush their fingers, which is just utterly bizarre to me. So we're going to talk about like all of these problems today, and thankfully we're probably never going to see the Cybertruck in Europe because it like breaks so many of the laws here and just looks like a death machine for some of our roads. And the fact that something so big and heavy can accelerate so quickly and also had the flaw of like wedging the accelerator full throttle, it's probably a good thing that European laws on cars exist in contrast with the more relaxed laws in America. So all of that coming up for you today. Please follow me on social media at the Kavernacle, mainly on Instagram, my YouTube, and my personal one, but also on Threads and Blue Sky. And also, if you want to join the Discord server and support my work, please check out the Patreon. So I thought I'd start with the most unbelievable part of the Cybertruck, the thing I mentioned, the accelerator pedal, having a massive fault. Now, a TikTok user called El Chapito 1985 explained what happened to him when he was driving his Cybertruck. And I can't imagine how so many people would have acted in this situation. And that's why this car is so dangerous, considering, yes, also the size, the sharp edges, and the material it's made out of. So let's watch the video.
So apparently the Cybertruck has a stop zone, and I might know why. It's got something to do with the accelerator pedal. So let me show you something interesting about my Cybertruck is that pedal looks different, right? It's missing this. So a couple days ago I'm driving, and let me see if I can get a good view here. I'm driving and this goes here. As I'm driving, this slid up and wedged itself just like that. Right now it's not clipped on, so it's kind of hard to see, but this wedged itself right there. And as you can see, based on the design of the floorboard, this sliding up, and the way this was still hooked onto the pedal, it held the accelerator down 100%, full throttle. Now, I was luckily had a clear mind, didn't panic, and holding the brake down overrides the pedal. So I was able to stop the car, but anytime I lift the brake, it would start accelerating again. So I stopped the car, put it in park, got out. At first I thought the pedal was broken, but then I realized that nope, this was wedged down here under this little section here, not allowing this pedal to come back up. So yeah, looks like there's a recall or some kind of stop cell for that. Somebody that panics, that could be pretty dangerous. Crazy.
So like I said, an obviously like insane design flaw to have such a cramped space under where you're having the accelerator. Like, I don't know about you, I can think of my own car, even if it had a big pedal like that, there's basically like no risk it could do that. But this car seems so poorly designed and so poorly manufactured. Feels like just to be like a big scam at this point, based on hype created by Elon. Seems to be like a lot of his products. But yeah, at least it led to a recall. So this was last month. Tesla has issued a recall of nearly all Cybertrucks sold. The recall applies to 3,878 vehicles produced between the 13th of November and the 4th of April, when Tesla started utilizing soap as a lubricant to aid assembly in an unapproved change to the manufacturing process, according to a report from the US National Highway Traffic Safety Association. In at least 2 reported cases, residues of this lubricant caused the accelerator pad to detach from its pedal and become trapped in the car's interior trim, causing unwanted acceleration. Tesla says it has not received any reports of accidents, injuries, or death caused by the issue. But I did see one picture going round, and this is what I'm speculating, is look how this Tesla car has crashed, right? It seems to be like a weird thing to do. Literally just veers off into the side of the road to the Beverly Hills Hotel sign. Does seem like something that could have been caused by the accelerator wedging itself basically to the floor of the vehicle. So the only reason this probably didn't cause any like fatalities or reported major accidents is because there's so few Cybertrucks out there. But if there were more and they were mass produced and they were more popular, then this would probably be like an absolutely massive issue and be like a disaster. But they're lucky because of the limited releases of this thing, then, you know, only a few reported crashes. Although I have seen like a lot of accidents involving the Cybertruck since it's been released to the public. Now, before we talked about just Cybertruck fans being weird, and they are weird about this car, even just thinking it looks nice in the first place, but also they've began sticking their fingers in the hood, which seems like a really bad idea.
literally pretty much crushed it, but literally has a little gouge. Doesn't feel, it feels a little bit numb, but really not that big of a deal.
With just a software update, the Tesla Cybertruck frunk is way safer. We witnessed it destroy a ton of vegetables, and then post-update did nothing. But it did cut off the tip of a carrot. So people are concerned, if you put the tip of your finger in a Cybertruck frunk, is this gonna come off as well? Everybody's been waiting for this, the finger. Without further ado, I feared for my finger for a second, not gonna lie. That's kind of bad, and you can see my finger is shaking.
That is nice for the future Tesla owners, that your car might just eat up your fingers if you're not careful enough. If you're just maybe leaning back and holding something, or maybe just being careless, not being an idiot who sticks your hand in there, then yeah, the Cybertruck with its nice, very sharp edges might actually sever like a limb, or at least your fingers. Now, talking about the Cybertruck being like a guillotine made out of these metal panels, we have to talk about the stainless steel design of the Cybertruck and why most cars aren't made of this and why most cars don't have sharp edges. So here's another report. Tesla Cybertruck owners complain their new vehicles are rusting. 2 months after they were launched, buyers are posting images on social media showing orange rust spots appearing on their new exterior, in some cases after driving in the rain. Online forum Cybertruck Owners Club, a Cybertruck owner posted a close-up photos of little orange spots in his vehicle. The poster said that when picking up his Cybertruck in February, an advisor alerted him to this issue. The advisor specifically mentioned the Cybertrucks develop orange rust marks in the rain that required the vehicle to be buffed out. The user said he tried using dish soap to remove the spots but was unsuccessful. Another user noticed corrosion on his vehicle's exterior, also after driving in the rain. My Cybertruck has 381 miles on it and has spent much of the 11 days in my custody parked in front of my house. Cold weather, rain and some sunlight later, I attached a few photos of corrosion spots and a video. So stainless steel is typically known for its extreme resistance to corrosion and general strength and durability, but is seldom used as an exterior material for vehicles because it's hard to mold. Indeed, the Cybertruck's design is rigid and angular. For $6,000 extra on top of your $90,000 you pay, Tesla offers to wrap the trucks in a black or white paint film, which the company says covers all exterior stainless steel surfaces and protects against scratches. A clear paint film is available for $5,000. And on another article from Wired, they say aside from the 1980s DeLorean and a shiny 1960s Porsche, car companies have long steered clear of stainless steel panels. The material is heavy, expensive, and hard to work with. It's also stiff, which makes it potentially lethal to anybody to be struck by it. Even stainless steels can stain, especially if any cheaper steel fittings beneath the Cybertruck's panels react with the stainless product. So in previous videos, I've read about all the extras you can buy for the Cybertruck, and it just seems like unending price gouging. Like, if you want to protect your car, which chose this more expensive material, which isn't good for cars in the first place, if you want to make it safe from corrosion, then pay us another $6,000 so we can paint it. I know this has been a thing in the car industry for a long time, but even this feels like just like stripping away the basics just to get more money out of you. Now, talking about like keeping the car clean, apparently you also like shouldn't wash the car. And as a user who details his car basically being killed by a car wash, but this actually is something that's happened to multiple people, not just him.
The Cybertruck does not work anymore. I'm about 2.5 months in and 3,400 miles, and it's not working right now. Let me show you. Listen to the noise this thing makes when I hold on it. All right, I'll be quiet now. That was a weird popping sound. So what did I do different? Today I went to the beach. I took the dogs. There'll be a video on that when I get to it. And went home. Took it through the car wash. Make sure all the sand's off. Vacuum the inside. But I noticed there was some sand in the truck bed. So I put the tonneau cover up and I just hosed off the sand in there. And there seemed to be little slots. That's the only thing I've done that's different. Then I pulled it in the garage. We are a couple minutes in, Should have had a little T up here by now and a new display.
So, like I said, I'm ignorant about electric cars, but apparently this has been a problem with Teslas overall. So another post here about a Tesla Model 3 saying that our Model 3's developed multiple error codes. Repair is estimated at $4,300 for a single corroded electric connector. They said it was because of moisture. Car wash mode in the documents doesn't say anything about preventing moisture in this area. It mentions closing windows, locking charge ports, but nothing about preventing moisture buildup. We love these cars genuinely, it's why we bought two, but unanticipatedly costly and seemingly impossible to prevent. Repairs like these are frustrating. Is there any way to prevent that type of corrosion, or is it just going to happen? Car has 80k miles, by the way, best car I've ever had when it works. So yeah, it seems to be like a general problem with something to do with the Tesla electric cars, but probably made worse by the Cybertruck, as it seems like something that would get dirtier quicker, and also because of Elon promoting it as an off-road vehicle, lots of people like to drive it places that you might not, regularly drive your car. But there's been a lot of pictures as well of people driving their Cybertrucks, like this guy did, onto the beach and then getting stuck. So that's another feature pretty much lied about. And there's other videos I've seen of it really not being able to deal with off-road conditions either. But talking more about like just the general maintenance of this thing, apparently the windshield is really weak. So you see a picture here, and I've seen a lot of these. Windshield did not withstand a freak sudden hailstorm in Austin. Rest of the vehicle was fine. None of the other cars parked next to me had windshield damage, but they had lots of dings in their body. Pretty disappointing. And then another post saying, the past weekend I picked up my Cybertruck. After 30 minutes in our return trip driving on the highway, the windshield suddenly cracked from the lower leading edge centered in the passenger's field of view. There was no car in front of us to throw a rock or cause an impact, just a pop. The crack appeared from the edge and extended about 3 inches up the windshield. Disappointed, we pulled off at the next rest stop to inspect the damage and put a ticket into Tesla for service. In the 10 minutes between having the crack appear to the rest stop, the crack continued to pop every few minutes, grew across the lower passenger side corner over to the A-pillar, and extended up about 25% of the windshield. It seems crazy to me to spend like so much money on a car and it basically to be so poorly constructed. Parts of it are breaking without anything happening to it. It just seems like a rush job, and they're using like poor materials. If you paid like the cheapest price imaginable to buy like a functioning car, you'd be seriously mad if this happened, if the windshield started cracking within 30 minutes of picking it up, even secondhand. It's insane to me so many of them will defend this because they're such blind fans of the car brand. Now, something we mentioned before as well is the computer and the operating system. And like I said, it seems so wild to me that a car can essentially be bricked into not working at all by its operating system. But there's a guy on Twitter called Lamar MK who's been having a lot of trouble, and he's also like a YouTuber as well, having a lot of trouble with his Tesla. He's been posting about it a lot, showing how the operating system is basically like completely destroying the car and not working at all, despite getting it fixed many times.
Keeps going lower and lower, and the wheel is super hard to turn. It's crazy. Like I can barely move. I'm pressing it. Yeah, now it's 4. Yeah, I think. Oh my goodness! Help me out. What's going on? Help me out. I don't know what's going on with the Cybertruck again, man, but it's not charging. Check this out. If I plug it in, it's gonna be red. I'm at home right now, and it's not charging. I just came off a road trip. Let's look for the next message. There it is. If I go here to the alerts, this is what it's showing. What am I supposed to do right now? I don't know. I tried to reset, hold these 2 buttons down. I tried that. It's still not charging. Guys, you literally cannot make this up. Less than 24 hours and the Cybertruck is broke again. I just picked it up yesterday after 2 weeks again of it being stuck in service. They replaced the PCS and another harness in the back, and right now it's broken again. I'm here at Tesla. It's showing those high voltage error codes again as it did in the first issue, where the truck shut down on the highway and you know you had all that red on the screen that was just flashing everywhere. Same thing in this again. It's broken. You can't even drive the truck 2 hours without it being broke. Right now, with all due respect, man, everybody at Tesla, I don't need you guys to do any more repairs to this truck. You guys need to ship one here ASAP. This is my 4th time to the service center.
Now, this is actually a very common experience. On Twitter, I've seen a lot of people posting like their screens flashing like it's an emergency after basically just picking theirs up and not even using it extensively because there's some unknown glitch, unknown system meltdown which makes their car basically inoperable. And on one of these like fan community forums, someone put a list together of all the major problems and they say, as a fan of Tesla and early adopter of the Model X, I have asked myself multiple times why I subject myself over and over again with quality and service issues. I asked that as well. Regardless of being the first of its kind, issues regarding the Cybertruck continue to grow. These are not issues I've had with mine, but noted across the forums. Bricking due to charging issues, bricking after car wash, water damage to cover buttons, overhead gear selector popping, dropping off, panels flying off, windshield cracking, deformity, windshield wiper motor not working, rear doors not opening 90 degrees, seat belts installed incorrectly, and screen blacking out. On top of that, service is backed up, takes forever to get parts, repair itself takes days to weeks, and worst part of all, poor communication. I've already had my front windshield replaced, wiper motor replaced, gear selector fixed, and now find myself waiting on a side mirror replacement. I repeatedly convinced myself that it's okay and find myself justifying the situation like a bad, unhealthy relationship. You keep going back for more abuse. Not only am I complacent, I defend the behavior by saying, it's a Tesla. Small price to pay as an early adopter, and I knew what I was getting into. It's sad, foolish, and egregious that it's comical. Never did I allow this with my other cars, yet I sit in the 100k plus car, being towed left and right, smiling, and secretly hoping it won't brick while my kids are riding in the back. On a side note, anyone with a Cybertruck that is working without issues for more than a month or two with a couple thousand miles. And that basically sums up all the issues with the Cybertruck and the issues of a lot of fans of Tesla cars. It's kind of like the mindset you see with like a hotly anticipated game that just is broken because it's glitchy or it just didn't live up to expectations. Like, you know, I'm having fun with it, so who cares? I'll ignore all of that. And that's kind of like the mindset with Tesla. But it's just amazing to me, like, it's not a few Cybertrucks which had issues. This car's been in development for like 5 years, or announced 5 years ago, probably even longer. And so many people have so many of these issues, which range from just like absolutely bizarre oversight, just like obviously a rush job to get them out as quick as possible, and not enough care or thought being put onto these things. And honestly, I don't even know how these things are legal, because all these problems which could cause a massive accident seem so common. How have they all not been recalled until all these problems have been fixed? Like, the accelerator one alone was bad, but think of all of these together as well, and all the problems they can cause in a car that can go so fast so quickly, weighs so much, and has a pretty dangerous design in terms of how hard and sharp the edges are of the car. I think it's fair to say it's official, the Cybertruck is not only an ugly piece of shit, it's also just like a terrible car that doesn't work properly and is built very, very poorly. And I feel bad, kind of, for everyone who bought into the hype and bought them, but don't trust Elon, the con man. And, you know, if you have this money to throw away, like, buy something better with it. Buy a cheaper car and enjoy the money doing something else if you can throw away 100k plus. And also, it's not even 100k at this point, because as that post outlined, you're going to have to do so many repairs on it as well. But anyway, that is it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.